Tim here with my day 24 ketogenic diet update. And a couple of things to report today. I'll talk about my weight loss in a second. I want to talk a little bit about the China study. I had some interesting conversation on YouTube by the comments about the China study, and there was someone by the name of Melissa who's basically come out and said, words to the effect that I'm totally crazy doing this and you're undoing all the good you've done with the juice fast by going into this, basically going into a ketogenic diet. And what's more, she said the ketogenic diet was dangerous, causes cancer, causes heart disease and everything else. So naturally I was curious as to why she would say that. So I pressed her a little bit further about it and basically said, no, I'm sorry, you've got that wrong. Ketogenic diet has been scientifically proven to actually help you, obviously with weight loss, but also in health. You get improved health, cholesterol goes down, etc. It's reversed cancer, it's cured epilepsy, etc., etc., and the list goes on. So she came back and referred me to the China study, which is something by Dr. Campbell, who's pretty eminent in his field of nutrition, and he's had a long study on the effects of, basically effects of nutrition. And basically his argument was, in a nutshell, is that all animal products are bad for you. In a nutshell, that's what it is. And he's very much anti-low carb, which is interesting because one of the conclusions is that sugar and starch, those types of carbs are actually bad for you, so which we agree with keto, and that's what we're not doing. But in a nutshell, they're basically saying, that a lot of the information out there is suggesting that animal, basically meat of any kind, is bad for you. So sure enough, that pressed a little bit further, it's obviously a vegan movement. And look, I'm certainly not anti-vegan. I totally respect you guys if you choose to go vegan, because I tried that for a while myself after going off the juice fast, and it wasn't for me. So anyway, I did do a little bit more research, and this is what I want to really hammer home today, the importance of doing research, because I was able to easily find some information basically debunking a large component of the China study. Now what I did was, obviously I like seeing both sides. I read what was for, what was the pro, and what was against the China study, and it's interesting because there's a lot of overlap. And I think what Melissa has done is she's just assumed that anyone that ketogenic diet is bad, just lumping it in because you're actually eating meat. And that's really the vegans will often push that as an angle, and they'll say, if you eat meat, you're going to get disease, you're going to get sick, you're going to get cancer, etc. They lump it all off like that. But of course, the ketogenic diet shares many similarities with some of the findings of the China studies, the parts that I think are right. For example, vegetables. They pretty well agree that eating vegetables is good. We agree with that. We're eating vegetables on the ketogenic diet. The carbs that are in sugary foods and starches are bad. Well, we agree with that as well, don't we? That's ketogenic diet. There's other similarities like that as well, which it's just an interesting angle, isn't it? That they're so anti-something, but when you do the research, and what I'm going to do now, at the end of this video, I'm going to put a little link so you can click on and watch a quick video. And basically, the first thing that shocked me was that the book itself, the China study, which came out in 2005, has had no peer reviews. So what that means is that they had a doctor, basically someone who could have been anyone, but happens to be a doctor, has come up and said, this is this book is, I'm going to release this book basically, and he found a publisher who isn't necessarily a mainstream publisher to publish his book so that no one else had to review it. So no other doctors have really reviewed his work. So he's released a book peer unreviewed. So does this sound familiar? Think back to the 1950s. Ansel Keys came out with a theory, and his theory was fat is bad for you. So what he did was he basically manipulated some statistics to prove his point. So he actually found some countries that had a relationship in his mind between the amount of fat they consumed and mortality and death rates. And he took out the countries that didn't fit, because there were countries that did eat a lot of fat and didn't have high mortalities as a result of it. So in other words, proving that fat wasn't a cause of heart disease, he took those out of the study. So he only left the countries where it did fit his statistics and published a theory, published his book, and then suddenly everyone agreed to him, and for the next 30, 40, 50 years, low fat was the way to go. And it's only now coming out because people like Gary Taubes has come out there, and he's actually said, well, hang on, I'm not going to just believe this guy, I'm going to do my own research. So he went out and actually researched it, and the facts are different. Low fat is bad for you. Fat inherently is good for you. Eating lots of fat makes you healthier. I know that sounds bizarre, but that's the reality. And that's what the ketogenic diet actually shows us. So the point I want to make here, anyway, my long-winded way, the point I'm getting to is you need to do your research. Don't believe stuff without researching both sides of the coins. And Melissa, I'll say to you that it sounds like you're pretty much pro-vegan and you want to believe the China study, and that's fine, that's your prerogative. But you do need to see both sides of it, and there is another side there, and a lot of the information in there has been scientifically debunked. But even if part of that was right, that's not saying that the ketogenic diet is necessarily bad. This is the point I want to make, that we don't have to be completely black and white here. If you don't believe or feel that that lifestyle is for you, which I don't believe vegan is, I'm not going to come down on it and say, well, no, vegans, it's really unhealthy, and because but for some people, the vegan lifestyle will work well. In my case, I've done the research. The ketogenic diet is the way to go. We've got scientific evidence proving the validity of it. It's healthy. You're eating healthy foods. You're just getting rid of a lot of the starchy and sugary type products and focusing on those, keeping those carbs to a low number. It's healthy. That's the reality. And yes, I have done the research. So the point I'm making is, if people come up to you, I know I've said this before, and start spouting information, make sure you don't just take it verbatim. The worst thing you could do is, if someone said ketogenic diet is not going to work for you, is just to accept that as fact. Get out there for yourself and do some research and look at the people behind the research and check their credentials and check the science behind it. Don't assume that just because someone who's prominent in his field, him or her, has come out with something that it's going to be fact. Have other people truly peer reviewed it? Have they looked at the statistics? Have they manipulated the statistics? And also look at people that you know who have been through a particular process and has it worked for them? Because often the information is shockingly different, and that's what I found out with the low fat. I assumed for so many years a low fat diet was the way to go, and I assumed that within me there was a limitation and I wasn't strong enough to resist the cravings and so forth of eating a high carb lifestyle. Well, the reality is the science was wrong. I wish I had known 20 years ago that Ansel Keys' theory about low fat was actually incorrect. But I've found it out now. So just make sure that you do that research, and don't just assume what people are saying is correct. And I think the best way to find out is to do the research. The internet is so good these days. It's so easy, as it was in the case of the China study, to find the real science behind it and find things like, you have to ask yourself, why would someone publish a book without getting it peer reviewed? I mean, that's warning. That's danger signs to me already that there's something going on there. I would prefer to stick to the science and stick to the stuff that I know works. So there you go. So again, I just want to make a point. I'm not anti-vegan. If you're watching this and you're pro-vegan, that's good. I respect your right to a pro-vegan lifestyle, and I'm certainly not trying to jam the ketogenic diet down your throat. What I am saying categorically is ketogenic diet is a healthy way, not only for you to lose weight, to actually get healthier, and it can cure cancer in some cases, and I've released videos on my channel showing that. Cures epilepsy. I mean, this is no coincidence. People are getting healthier, people are reducing the cholesterol, the list goes on, from a ketogenic lifestyle. So that cannot be a bad thing, no matter what anyone else says. And again, do your own research. Okay, well, that's my rant for today. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Actually, I'm not sure. I think I have to finish off with my weight loss. My weight loss stayed exactly the same. My weight, I should say, stayed exactly the same as yesterday. So no gain or no loss. So currently I'm still at 5.8 kilograms of weight loss since I've started, which is, I think it was 12 and 2/10 of a pound, if I can remember off the top of my head. Okay, so I'll be back with another video tomorrow. Cheers for now. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please click this button here. As you can see it on the screen now, that's the like button. Please do that. It helps spread the word and get other people to actually find my videos, which is fantastic. It's a win-win. Also, if you want to comment on my videos, please do so. That's over there, right over there. If you do that, I will actually respond to any questions you might have. And lastly, and probably most importantly, please subscribe. That's right, click that button right there now. You can do that right now while I'm talking, and you can subscribe to my channel, and you'll be updated automatically every time I release a new video, which is often. Thanks again for watching. I hope you enjoyed it, and I'll be back with another video soon. Cheers for now.